Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. We are back yet again for more Tower of Greatness. Oh, sorry, I meant Tower of God. We're gonna be talking all about episode 4 or 5? I don't even know where we're at anymore. That said, before we get into it, I do, as always, want to give a big thank you to those of you who shared last week's video over on Twitter. At The Anime Alley, at Dan STG, at Louis Lupina, at Luna De Otaku, at Matt87Eagle, at Clockwork Cams, at Deep Not That Deep, at Darkfire Player 4, at A Snapshots, and at Blue Rose Enigma. Thank you all so much for sharing last week's video over on Twitter, everybody, and if you too would like to have your name shouted out in next week's Tower of God video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet, and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout out the first handful of you in next week's video. My friends, the crown game has come to an end. Now, you guys may have heard, maybe heard the hype that I had for last week's video in my tone of voice. You might have maybe gotten an inkling that I thought that episode was absolutely fire. I gotta say that that hype remains. This episode is so good. Like, okay, I was already into Tower of God, even pretty much from the start. I thought Tower of God was so intriguing and so different. So I was like, yeah, I want more of this. It is, obviously, it has a lot of similarities to Hunter x Hunter's exam arc, like the very first arc of Hunter x Hunter, which I am still on, admittedly. But, like, yeah, it has similarities to that. I can understand, I can agree and totally understand. But I find the mystery of Tower of God to be way more intriguing. I'm like, so, like, the action's great, but the mystery is what's holding my attention, right? At least at first. And then we got to the crown game, and I'm like, oh shit, I am in. This is so good. The fight scenes in this show are so dope. And I love, like, the different character designs, the different abilities. Like, Shinsoo allows you to do so much random crap. Again, very Hunter x Hunter, like, just weird, crazy designs, weird, crazy powers. It's dope as shit. And I am so in. I absolutely love it. I gotta tell you, I was so excited for this week's episode. During my morning workout, I had the OP blasting. Like that, like the OP is so good, it has entered the pantheon of workout playlists. My hype reaches new heights every time a new episode of Tower of God comes out. I am concerned that the next episode might not live up to said hype. I think we might maybe be like, after the hypeness that was the crown game, it's gonna be hard to live up to that same level of excitement. I assume they will, but I do think the next episode will be like more chill, more toned down. We're gonna be in the aftermath of the crown game, which is fine. But I do think that there is still a lot of intrigue given how we end the episode. But before we get into all of that, let's go ahead and talk about the beginning of the episode. I hear the beginning is a great place to start. We open with the explanation of how Koon was able to show off like multiple crowns, right? Because he has the one crown in his hand, and he throws the fake crown, and everybody goes for the fake crown, and they're like, wait a minute, and they turn back, and he has the real crown in his hand. And then when this episode kicks off, this boy just like empties the bag and drops like countless crowns onto the ground, and you're like, I'm left there thinking like, okay, did he have time to make that many crowns? And I felt stupid for saying that, because as soon as I had that thought in my head, like, did he make multiple crowns? I didn't even know he had the time to do that. But then immediately Rack's like, oh, I get it. That's why you have so many chocolate bars. It's like your bag can copy things. That's cool. And I was like, wow, I got outsmarted by Rack. I am a colossally dumb person. But still, it was a cool moment, and I love that we see that Koon is able to like not only make copies of things, but we find out later store things as well. The bag itself, I'm very intrigued by. Like, is that a family heirloom? Did he buy this? Like, how did he make this? Is that his Shinsoo control? Like, can he make, I don't know why I said Shinsoo control, like I'm Shadow the Hedgehog, just chaos control. Still, I'm very curious as to where the bag comes from. And it's interesting too, because like once that happens, once the kickoff of like everybody realizing what Koon has done, you actually get to see like my boy. Not only does the other teams like all take each other out, and like Rack gets this big cool moment where he gets to like end round 3 by like just taking out multiple people at the same time, but you see my boy in the downtime in between rounds tie his hair up in a ponytail, and it looks fantastic. Like my boy rocking the ponytail, it looks great. And I love that Rack gets to like talk about how, like you see how that Rack is still talking about how, like, one day I am gonna hunt you too. When you're stronger. Not right now, but once you're stronger, then I'm gonna hunt you too. But he also showed, like, genuine concern for the gang later on in the final round. Rack is climbing them ranks for me. He's climbing my ranks for best boy. In fact, right now, he is best boy. He's best boy, and Koon is best turtle. Not to mention, too, and I'm just gonna put this out there, because I know some people are like, ew, bro, what? Like, that's not a ship, they're boys. That's your ship. Like, you don't... Like, if I hear anything to the contrary, I'm just gonna assume that you're blind. Because the instant that, like, when Koon lays next to, or not even lays next to, but just kind of, like, rests his head on Bam's shoulder, I'm thinking, like, okay, like, that's kind of shippy, but you know, like, maybe he's tired. I don't know, like, maybe it's been a long day and he's just kind of, like, laying on Bam's shoulder, you know, like, you can maybe write that off. I, of course, am like, ooh, that's a ship right there, but, like, maybe if you don't ship it, you could write it off. Once he lays down, once he rests his head on the man's lap, it's like, okay, yep, that's a thing. I refuse to believe otherwise. The Kabam ship is real, and yes, it is called Kabam. You cannot convince me otherwise. That is top ship name. Quality. But regardless of how you feel, it doesn't change the fact that Koon is on his 10th Doctor shit right now. And what do I mean by his 10th Doctor shit? Well, I mean that he is like a master planner, right? He's not a manipulator, for the most part, but he is a master at strategizing, and he does so in a way that can be conceived as kind of shady, in the way that David Tennant's version of the Doctor from Doctor Who was relatively shady. Basically, what I mean by that is kind of not telling the companions of his the full plan and just kind of letting them be surprised by what he does. Showing off a little bit, my boy is. He has a bag that's bigger on the inside. He's got that calm, collected nature in the face of a crisis, and the man has plans within plans within plans. Just when you think that the man's plan has fallen apart, that's actually part of the plan, and the real plan is within the fallen apart plan. Boom! Koon is again just on his Doctor level strategy and suaveness too, because he's like, the way he's just like calm and cool, like when the other teams show up, right? I'm thinking like, oh, okay, so we gonna get a fight. We're gonna see my boy throw down. We don't see that till later on in the episode, because it turns out that this was all part of the plan. Like Koon actually had 3 team members that he hid inside the bag, because again, bigger on the inside. He hid these people inside the bag, and it's only way later when they get to use like little test that Yu says like, man, that bag that you carry must be real heavy. Like, you kind of figured out what was going on, because he's like, you cheeky little, like, you knew. And then we see them, these teammates, this new team that I would like to see more of. These guys were pretty rad. We see them, like, basically help out Koon, because that was the deal, that they were going to help out. They help out Koon, they disqualify themselves, and then we're on to the final round. Absolute Doctor level strategy. The strategy in this episode was so fire. Like, it was so good that even Anak starts looking like, oh shit. Like, even she was like, oh, I may have made a bad decision. And Shibisu rightfully like teases her, cause saying like, oh, is somebody scared they're gonna lose their weapon? Cause like, yeah, like that was, now mind you, we know what happens at the end of the episode, but I like, even like when Shibisu was teasing her, I'm like, yeah, you about to lose the Green April because you get too cocky in that. Like you, mind you, she was right to do so because she ended up winning anyway, but like still, like in that moment, I was kind of agreeing with Shibisu, even though I love Anak, and you guys, if you saw the last video, you know that she's like top tier for me, like she's badass. But even I was like, yeah, you do kind of like, you seem to have a tendency to get a little bit cocky. Like if the first round, like the way like early like round, or not first round as in like the first round of the crown game. I mean like the first test and the second test, and now this crown game, if any of those have told me anything, is that Anak has a tendency to be a little bit too cocky at times. So seeing her get nervous, I felt like was a humbling moment for the character. So I thought that was really cool. I wanted to kind of zero in on that a little bit before we get to the next part. We get to the final test, the final round, and this chick in spandex shows up, and she's like Celty with like with a bow staff, and she just wrecks shop. Like, I'm talking like again, to quote Olin Rogers, just takes these dudes to prom, drops them off, doesn't even pay, just destroys people. And I'm sitting there like, okay, there's no way she's gonna beat Rack. This is gonna be Rack's big moment. Not only does she just totally just cranks Rack, I almost said a knack, cranks Rack right in the dome. She flies over the dude and makes a play for Bam, but then Team Shady shows up. And I'm thinking like, okay, I called you guys Team Shady, and so I can't go back on that, but now I feel bad because you're defending my boys. Well, that's weird. What's that about? And we find out a little bit. We get a little hint at what it could be later on. But for now, the crazy girl, who I will admit is kinda, and by kinda I mean pretty fine. Like, they start getting into a brawl. And so I'm like, oh, okay, like, she's actually, like, she can back up, like, the smack talk she had earlier with a knack. Like, she's actually really skilled. Dope, okay, cool. And then this girl manages to get past her. I think she breaks the chatty girl's heel. So it's like, oh, shit. Like, not like her heel as in, like, her actual heel, but I mean, like, her high heel. Like, it breaks. And she makes a play for Bam. Or, no, sorry, she doesn't actually make a play for Bam. She actually purposely goes after Rachel, which is interesting. So she goes for Rachel, and she's going for the killing blow. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew once Rachel and the big, huge dude showed up to protect Bam, that Bam was going to get off the dang throne. And I'm thinking, like, Bam, please, there's like less than 30 seconds. Just stay on the throne, stay on the throne, stay on the throne, stay on the throne. You can get a sword out of this, or a needle, whatever they are. The 12 weapons, you can get one of the 12 weapons, just stay on the throne. Bam does not stay on the throne, because of course he doesn't. Of course he jumps off the thing and he jumps for Rachel. And I'm not going to show it, because some of the new guidelines on the site have said that they don't really want excessive amounts of the human bean juice. And yeah, this gets messy, because Bam jumps for Rachel, because of course he does, because that's the only source of kindness in his life he had known up until the tower. He's not a simp, by the way. It's just that he's basically, I've said this in streams, I'll say it again here. Bam is a duckling. That's what he is. And Rachel is just the person that he like bonded to, that he imprinted onto as, you are mother, this is the person that will protect me and I will protect them. He's just a lost duckling, right? So of course he jumps for Rachel, even though it kills me. I knew he was gonna do that, because Rachel's still shady. Like, I appreciate that she didn't kill Bam, which I was worried that her and Team Shady might do that, but they don't kill Bam. I appreciate that. And they don't try to make a play to kill Rack and Koon either, which I still appreciate. And regardless though, Bam makes this play to save Rachel. And he just like eats, like he just gets like, I'm shocked his skull wasn't fractured, because like the impact that this thing makes, like the sound is brutal. Like, just this girl cracks the back of Bam's skull, and I'm thinking like, not that he's dead, but I'm like, so Bam's just like out cold for the rest of the episode, right? Like, it has to be. Nope. There's suddenly a explosion of Shinsoo, which they explain like, yeah, it's Shinsoo. And from what we gather later from Lero, Bam became Shinsoo, which I was not aware was a possibility, but there's a lot that I don't know. We're only a handful of episodes in, man. Cut me some slack. I don't know everything. But yeah, Bam becomes Shinsoo, I guess. And like, it's enough to knock the bow staff girl on her ass. And he's like furious. Like, he's going to kill this girl. Because again, he's a lost duckling. She attacked his imprinted person. So of course, like, he's like, you tried to kill Rachel, now you die. Like, that's what, you know, like, of course that's what he was gonna do. And the music of this episode, like, if I ever meet Kevin Penkin, specifically if I ever meet this dude at a bar, I am not buying him a drink. I am buying him several drinks. I am buying him his night's worth of pints, because the music in like last episode and this episode, it's impeccable. early on, we get this song that sounds like it's something straight out of Mortal Kombat. It's got like a funky sort of like techno-y beat to it, mixed with like this sort of like distortion. It's great. Like this is like early on before before the last round. Like during that round, there's this awesome Penkin track. I didn't mention it till now, but it's great. And in this moment, like this big like holy crap, like Bam is becoming Shinsoo, and he's gonna kill Bow Staff chick, Spandex girl, and there's this like chorus, this like weird ethereal chorus, and it's just haunting. Penkin, man, he can flip on a dime, like just totally matching every scene. The man's a legend, and totally like his music so perfect for this scene where I'm thinking like Bam's gonna kill this girl, and then Black March shows up, and she's like, hey, you're freaking out, you're losing control. You should just take this moment to be happy that we're reunited. And she gives him a kiss, and it knocks him out. End of the crown game. Because in that moment, the crown straight up is disintegrated, so they can't even continue the crown game. And everybody, all the participants are way too exhausted to even continue anyway. So we cut to, I believe, 2 days later, as the participants have been given 3 days rest. So we are now 2 days into their 3-day rest. And in the midst of this, when they're showing what everybody's been up to, Anak has Black March. So I was like, oh shit, that's probably not good. Yuri's gonna be pissed. But yeah, Anak has the Black March, so it's like, oh shit. And more specific, like that should have been the big like whoa moment, right? Is that she has Black March, oh man, what are we gonna do? No, that's not the big moment. The big moment is Lero having a conversation with you, who I wanted to like because he was like a big coffee and tea guy. So I was like, oh, he's making like some instant, like they're having a discussion over lattes. How lovely. No, it turns out that you is also shady, and the fact that he has something to do with Team Shady says a lot. Like like Lero basically says like, what the hell is up with you? Like you sent them specifically knowing that she had some kind of tie to this. Like you're up to something. I know you are, and you basically dodges the question and just kind of turns it on Lero, saying, we're meant to keep anybody who would disturb the tower out of the tower. Like, that's what we're really trying to do. We're not trying to help these people climb. We're trying to protect the tower. So you ain't doing your job. And Lero's like, he basically just turned the tables on Lero, and Lero's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and leaves. And then Lero's like, oh, I got tricked by him. And I'm like, yeah, of course you did. You're lucky you're voiced by Suda, man, because, like, come on, boy. Like, should have pressed him harder. But at the same time, then we wouldn't have this arc, would we? You gotta keep the bad guy in play if you want to keep the arc going. So, I get it. But I do like that scene between Lero and you. I thought it was, like, you guys know me, I'm a sucker for a conversation over, like, a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. For some reason, it just works for me. Two characters playing chess, but verbally. I'm into it, so I like that. And the episode ends on a kind of a cliffhanger, because we get Bam, who is still very much asleep. And Koon is like, please, you have to wake up. If you don't wake up, you're gonna get disqualified. Bam, you're my boy. I need you to wake up. You can tell he's like, please. Because if you get disqualified, we're all disqualified. So, like, you have to wake up. And as he's saying that, there's a ring at the door. It's Rachel. And she has come to request something from Koon. And that's where we leave the episode. Because, of course, that's where we leave the episode. This show is so fire because it's like, it's got the hype, but it has the mystery that's like keeping me intrigued, you know? Like, if it was just hype, I'd be like, yeah, cool, right on, yeah, cool, like, cool fights, sweet. It's not just cool fights, man. Like this show has characters that I want to know more about. It has lore that I want to know more about. It has a mystery that I'm trying to figure out. The tower itself, how does it work? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. And I can't wait to see what the next test is. I was so into the crown game that I'm almost nervous, like I said earlier in the video. Like, I'm almost nervous to see what the next test is and if it will live up. I don't know, but I'm hyped. But on that note, everybody, I'm going to wrap up my thoughts here. Question of the day today: if you had Koon's bag, what would you use it to copy? What would you copy with it? Let me know in the comments below. And that's gonna do it for today's video, everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then by all means hitting that like button and leaving a comment down below is a great way to help out this channel as it pleases the almighty YouTube algorithm. So if you choose to do so, kudos to you. And if you're feeling extra supportive today, you can go ahead and check out all the links in the description. One goes to my Twitter, another one is to our Discord server, another one to our merch store if you feel like grabbing yourself a mug, and of course, our Patreon page. And speaking of the Patreon page, I do want to give a big thank you to those of you in the T Squadron who support this channel month to month. Let's go ahead and do the Earl Grey shoutouts. Izevi, Andrew W, Branson C, Bria Rose, Calvin A, Crowbar of Irony, Daniel G, Digger the Fox, Dominic G, Emily, Ionos, Urza, Ginkotaku, Godzilla Fan, No For Nothing, Maria T, Marshall B, Mater, Mirth Mouser, Cell, Shadow Creative, Stephen G, Sakochi, The Suavest Orange, Tristan G, and Veridan. Thanks so much for your continued support over on Patreon, everybody, and if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then be sure to check out the first link in the description to check out our Patreon page. That is a huge way to support the channel. And again, be sure to check out the other stuff in the Discord as well. Go join our Discord. It is now public. You can all join. Everybody can hop in the Discord. Follow me on Twitter if you want me to ramble at you even more. And until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.